This show is about the homeless. If we could get every homeless community across the nation to do what these people do, we're golden, folks. What prompted you to want to be here to do this?
Well, in '04, I owned a small construction company, and I was doing excellent and had 3 5-man crews going. I lost my driver's license. I got pulled over and got a ticket for driving on a suspended license. Went to court for that. The judge got mad at a girl 3 feet before I went up. Everybody after that, she sentenced 11 months, 29 days in jail at 30%. So I had to serve 81 days in jail. If somebody told me 81 days later I'd be flat broke and homeless, I'd have laughed at them. 81 days later, I'd lost everything. I was flat broke and homeless. All I had left was a wreck van. That got impounded, and that introduced me to a place called Tent City, introduced me to homelessness, which I was like everybody else back then. I stereotyped them. But God opened my eyes, so I dedicated my life to helping the homeless and working with homeless. I'm actually in a documentary that Oprah Winfrey done called Tent City, USA, which was filmed when I was down at Tent City.
Right. So, and let's talk about the misconception of homelessness, if you would.
A lot of people think that they're drug addicts or alcoholics or people running through society. Most of the people here are from the economy or something like that happened to me. Somebody could break an arm and be out of work for 6 weeks and lose everything. You know, most of these people are good people, worked hard all their life, don't want to be here, but once you get down this low, it's so hard to get back up.
Right. So what it appears to me is that you have people that, like you, that have a home that can be okay. Boom, something happens, then they're homeless. There needs to be something in the middle.
Right.
That
there's not. There's not. And then Nashville's a good place. The city is changing, though. We got a new mayor that's homeless friendly, first one in a long time. So things are going to change. I'm also commissioner on the Metro Homelessness Commission. She sat on the commission too, so things are going to change. But prevention needs to start. I mean, prevention is the best way to stop it. But you know.
So we need a solution to that thing that's missing in the middle.
Right, and the economy needs to change.
Thank you. And
people that aren't working anymore that need to be working.
I think it's because they outsource a lot of jobs. Is that it?
And there's so many illegals here working. You know, here in Nashville, there's 20,000 illegals in construction mostly, and that's what I do. You know, so I have a hard time. I don't work steady. I work enough to survive, but not like I used to.
Well, I commend you for what you're doing. It takes a special.
God wants me to do, and that's you know. That's how I look at it.
And I've heard that God is very active here in Tennessee.
Very active here in Tennessee.
Up until 10 years ago when we started this, I really didn't even know homeless people. In fact, I was speaking in Nashville. This is how we started. And I made a comment that I felt like people needed to be responsible for their lives. And I said, you know, even the homeless people on the streets need to be responsible. And so somebody came up afterwards and said, Pastor Bob, have you really ever met a homeless person? I mean, really met them. And I realized I hadn't, and they said, well, maybe you shouldn't talk about things you don't know anything about.
You you and your mom are responsible for what's happening here right now. Can you please talk about that for a minute?
I'd love to. Well, we started out very slowly, and we just started making sandwiches. I actually came under the bridge and started meeting people, and Trader Joe's partnered with us, and they donate about $50,000 worth of food a month to us, and we're feeding a little over 8,000 meals a month with that food. So. And
the woman that's cooking that food?
Well, the one that's cooking a lot of the food is my mom.
Yeah, and your mom is how old?
She's 85. She cooks it. What she doesn't cook, she distributes to other people that are cooking. So every bit of that food goes through her hands.
Well, she's an inspiration. Maybe it'll get some older people off their couches and out there to help.
I think that's great. She is my hero.
Yeah, she's mine too. And thank you so much. Keep doing what you're doing. You're an inspiration to many out there. understand that you are the cook of for all that's going on here. What prompted you to want to do all this to help?
I just saw there was a need, you know. So
That's a lot of work. How do you get it done?
a day at a time. Yeah.
And you've been doing this for how long now?
10 years.
10 years. Well, you know what? From my heart to yours, I want to thank you for doing things that most wouldn't even think about doing.
Oh, we're so blessed doing it. You know, they just become such good friends. Yeah.
And I see so much love and light in your eyes. I wish you all the best, and I know you're helping the lives of so many.
We try. Yeah.
Well, you don't try, you are doing. Some people try and never get anything done.
Well, wherever God puts us, you know, we need to answer that.
Tell me how this began for you.
Wow, that's interesting. You know what? I went to Haiti, and when I was in Haiti, somebody there mentioned that I should meet someone that's involved with the homeless here. And I have a serving heart, and so I started serving with all the different ministries. And I saw Pastor Bob had a Facebook page, and I thought, I have no idea what he does. It said homeless. So I met with him and had coffee and said, what do you do? And he told me. And from there, I ended up having homeless. I have homeless that live with me. My whole garage is filled with clothes for them. And all of a sudden, I realized that I was put on this earth to love in that way. And to love the people that the world sometimes turns their head and pretends that aren't there.
Right, and I saw you come up in your car and it was full of clothing and people are cold and you provided clothing and serving food. I do want to ask you this, before this experience and you heard the word homeless, what did you think?
You know what? I grew up very poor. And when there were still 9 kids at home when my dad died. So my mom always said, when you get extra, just give back. So you know what? I've always looked for homeless. I've always looked for people like that. I've always had a heart for people that the world kind of turns away from. So I've always had a heart for people like the homeless.
I started basically, I was going to church one day downtown, and I had some leftover items, I guess, in my car, banana, some random things, and I saw a lady. I was coming home, something told me to go a different way home from work, and so I went a different way home downtown. Sorry, I've got hair going on here. And stopped by the riverfront and saw this homeless woman. She reminded me of my grandmother. She was asleep. She had all of her stuff around her. I got out of the car. Something told me to stop the car and just leave the stuff with her. And I just put it in her stuff. She was asleep. She didn't even know I was there. And something moved me that day. And I started making bagged lunches. Every Saturday night when I'd get off work, I'd go grab all the things I needed to make bagged lunches and bottled water, and started going down to the riverfront and ended up meeting Wenzel, which I think that you interviewed him. And they were like, hey, why don't you come on down to a place that we feed? And I always say that was a couple years ago, but that's probably been about 6 or 7. And then, of course, I'm on the board at Unity of Nashville. And so when I became a board member, I insisted that we needed to do more outreach. I really felt a calling. And so I already knew a great group of people that we could work with. And so I helped start the homeless ministry there, and we come down. And
So you're the founder of the homeless ministry?
yes, at Unity.
I'm so grateful that you're going to let me talk to you for a minute, because the misconception that people, when you say homeless, they think drugs, alcohol, addiction. But and please share with the audience what you are and why you became homeless, what your choices are.
Well, I'm a Navy SEAL, and I've been homeless for about 22 years, living on the streets. I used to live at Fort Nigley, but I moved.
And how long were you a Navy SEAL?
I've been from age 17 until 22 years of it.
22 years you were a Navy SEAL, and what were you doing?
I was in the Marine Corps, 74 to 85. My MO was 0311, a grunt, ground stopper, and a weapons specialist.
Right, and without you two gentlemen protecting the United States of America, I know that, but
We have to.
yeah, but I want to thank you for giving up a big part of your life to help protect us. So what brings you to this point in your life?
Well, I like Nashville. I've been living here for 16 and a half years.
Under this bridge?
Well, all over.
You told me you were sober for how many years?
Huh?
How long are you?
15.
15 years.
Sober since 1983, no drugs or alcohol.
And that's another misconception because people would think that you're addicted to something and that's why. But your choice, is it your choice to be here?
Yeah, I mean, whenever I get money, I don't have to worry about paying no bills or paying rent or things like that. I get food. I get, my clothes clean and things like that. And people, yeah, you're crazy, you're a bum. Well, call me whatever you want. But I'm in better shape than you are.
Would you say you have more freedom than somebody like me? Because I think you do.
Well, I can come and go as I please. I don't worry about the police because I don't get in any trouble. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. So I don't have to worry about getting in trouble.
But we do have police that comes down there to check on us, bring us water, food if we need it.
Okay, so
And all this.
so you're saying
Other people, man, they come down and help us, like the Tent City people.
like what's going on behind me? Okay.
And you,
Yeah.
behind me that's Pastor Bob. He is a preacher across the bridge, and he comes down here every Friday and I mean, sometime. Well, now he'll be coming down Saturday and Sunday at 2:00. Anybody is welcome to come down, but if you're in a home, do not come down.
Because you're taking food from people like us that are homeless and aren't working. And when we get money, we try and stretch it as far as we can. We buy just the necessary things, and if we have anything left, we put it in a jar or in this thing in our tent, and nobody can find it. And then when we need it, we just get it, and we go and get like soap or shampoo or clothes cleaned or something like that. So we manage. We do pretty good.
So this is an opportunity to share a message with the world. Do you have anything personally that you would like to share about your experience?
Well, if you're homeless, if you don't do drugs, you don't do alcohol and all that silly stuff and steal, then, you take care of yourself. And if somebody you run into needs help, if you can help them, do what you can. But don't ask for anything in return because, you're doing it for God's will. He wants you to help somebody. If you can, fine, because that'll come back to you tenfold.
Man upstairs is our boss, and plus mine, because I got God on my back and I got God in my heart.
I always wanted to get involved with something to help other people that are less fortunate than what we are. And best way to teach our son how to love or to show mercy is to do it with action. And this is a great way to do it.
Well, folks, I'm glad you're here. We love you. We appreciate you. And we have some guys here filming, and I want to talk about that for a minute. You know what? I don't usually allow people to come down and film here because I respect your privacy. You respect my privacy. We're all in this together, and I don't want anybody to be exploited. They're doing the show just to kind of help raise funds, help raise awareness, all of that. That kind of makes possible what people like us do. The more people that know about what we're doing. So that's why they're here. They're good folks. I've asked them to really be aware of your privacy. If you'd rather not having them film around you, you can tell them or tell me, okay? Okay. And I'll make sure that they don't. So just so you know that I do respect your privacy and I understand.
I found more love under the bridge than I ever found on top of it in a vehicle. God is real, folks, because this is where He lives. This is Kimberly reminding you, we're not just a show, we are truly a movement. And we'll see you next time. So instead of being home watching cartoons or playing with your iPod, you're out here volunteering.
Yeah.
Can you tell me why you want to volunteer?
Because there are people that need food and stuff and shelter.
Absolutely, and without somebody like you to volunteer, they can't get those things, right?